You guys know the drill at this point. We're making food. Duh. Today, I am making mac and cheese. Gluten-free, of course, but obviously that's optional. Gluten-free mac and cheese, baked mac and cheese, because that's the best kind. And I'm also gonna do some balsamic glazed Brussels sprouts. This is something I like to make on colder days. Like, this is a very much like fall, winter sort of dinner, even though I crave mac and cheese all the time, but like, I don't know, it's like comfort food. So ingredients first, as always. Parmesan, sharp cheddar, of course, mozzarella, fresh, because that's the best way. Also some provolone. This recipe is really good for like if you for some reason just have a lot of different cheeses that you need to use. You can kind of put like whatever cheese you want in there, but my thing is like the only thing that I stand by having and is a requirement is like cheddar, sharp cheddar. But that's pretty much it. Like anything else, I just like use whatever I have. Some butter. I'm just using a stick. We'll just kind of see how it goes. This I very freehand, like very eyeball pretty much everything. Minced garlic, mustard, Dijon preferred. And then of course my Brussels sprouts. I have some gluten-free elbow pasta, gluten-free panko breadcrumbs, because those are the best thing to put on top. I'm also going to use just some gluten-free flour to make the roux, which thickens up the cheese sauce, basically. My balsamic vinegar for my Brussels sprouts, some olive oil for my Brussels sprouts. So I'm starting by boiling my water for my pasta, and then I also just got out a pan to bake my Brussels sprouts because I am going to bake them. For my mac and cheese, I just will use like this to boil the pasta, but to also make the finished product, and then I put it into like a Dutch oven, and then I bake it in there. So right now I'm just working on cutting off the stem of my Brussels sprouts, and then I also just cut mine in half, just because they bake faster and they're also just easier to eat that way. And then sometimes the first like top layer of leaves on these get a little dirty just because I mean they go on the ground. So I just peel off the first few layers if it's a little nasty. My colander back into the sink because I'm going to use that same one to strain my pasta. I'm always pro using as little kitchenware as possible because obviously it's just like less stuff to use. Like I hate whenever people use like unnecessary bowls and unnecessary like dishes. Like you can reuse things if they're not dirty, obviously. Anyway, I am gonna go get a small glass bowl to make the balsamic glaze for Brussels sprouts. Okay, so for the Brussels sprouts, to make the balsamic glaze, I'm just gonna eyeball some olive oil. You don't really need like a ton. I'm also gonna do some balsamic, obviously. Once again, eyeballing it. And then I'm just gonna do some garlic. I'm also gonna use some Dijon mustard, Which now that I'm doing it, I never really noticed this before, and I don't know why, because it's like pretty obvious, but I'm noticing that a lot of the same ingredients, like seasonings and stuff that I use in the mac and cheese are in this like glaze, so that's probably why it like works well together. Now I'm just adding some black pepper. I'm also going to add some salt, and I'm also going to salt my water. Just a little bit though. Another fun fact, another little pro tip is don't salt your water like as soon as you put it on the heat, because I mean, I just learned this, so my bottom of the pot is like this as well, but like if you put it right in, the salt falls to the bottom, and I guess it ends up like eating at the pot or the bottom of it, but you'll get like little scuffs. Like they look like little like dots, like scuff dots. I don't know how to explain it, but they're like indents, kind of, in your pan from boiling water with salt in it from the very beginning. So you want to do it whenever you start to see some bubbles. The only way that I really knew without looking at it was just hearing it. Like you'll start to hear like the sound of boiling water a little bit, and that's when you know to put it in. So do some paprika, onion powder. You want to do some thyme. I'm also going to do some sage. And then to finish it off, this is my like little secret ingredient. I do some maple syrup, just to give it like a little bit of sweetness, but to also just like thicken up, your glaze. And also just like it counters with the like acidic balsamic vinegar, and it just adds like a little sweet note to it. It's really good. And then I just use a tablespoon, like just a literal tablespoon, to just stir this around, because my tablespoon is like a deep spoon, so it's nice to use to just like sprinkle it over. I'm gonna preheat my oven to 435, just because that's what I always preheat it at, and I feel like that's a good temperature to get it to cook. And also my water is boiling, as you can probably hear, so I'm gonna dump in my pasta. Alright, so once everything's combined and your Dijon mustard's kind of like incorporated enough where it's not like mustardy really anymore, you want it to kind of be like a dressing consistency. So like not like a sauce, but like not like water. I don't know, just like a dressing. I'm just using my tablespoon to just move these around and get them coated. And for my pasta, you want your pasta to be like a little bit before al dente, just because I found that whenever I end up making it, if you make it like fully cooked, it gets almost a little mushy. So I just cook mine like a little undercooked, because once you bake it, the noodles get even softer, and then it's like a normal noodle taste, and they're kind of like their individual noodle rather than like a mush of just mac and cheese, like literally noodle and cheese. Bring my burner down the whole way to like medium, just to get it like, I still want it warm, but I don't want it like really hot. And you can kind of see the steam from the pasta in the corner. But I also moved the same pot. I just dumped the pasta and then I sat it on an empty burner that's not on, just so I can prep my cheese, because once you start that, it's kind of like time sensitive. I put my pot back on the heat, and then now I just added 3/4 of that stick of butter, and I'm just gonna kind of let it melt, which it's gonna do pretty fast. So now I'm just gonna grab a whisk, and I'm also gonna grab my flour, and I'm also gonna grab a spoon. I'm actually just gonna drop that down below because it's still pretty hot. Okay, and now that my butter is pretty much melted, I'm gonna take my spoon and take some of my flour. And this I was eyeball. It's kind of just based on like what it kind of goes with. I normally do like around 2 or 3 spoonfuls. But anyway, I'm actually gonna turn my heat up a little because I want it to start to kind of simmer a little bit. But anyway, once you put that in there, you want to incorporate that flour in with your whisk and keep whisking. And you can definitely add more flour as you go, but I would always just wait like a minute in between, because the first few times that I've made this, I would always add too much flour because I'd be like, it's not thick enough, it's not like saucy, it doesn't look like how it should. And you have to just kind of give the flour a second to like incorporate itself and let it attach and just make like that sauce. Now's the time where I'm also gonna add my mustard. Once again, eyeballing it, I would say about like a half a teaspoon to like a teaspoon, just like once again, just whatever feels right. And then I am just gonna add some more flour into this. I'm just doing like a spoon and a half at a time. All right, and you can kind of see it's like got a sort of, it's gotten thicker than like normal melted butter would. It's kind of like a thin sauce. And that's kind of what you want to go for, is just like a sauce. Honestly, I might add another spoon. Just because I want mine like a little bit thicker. While I let it do its thing, I'm gonna get my seasonings together for the actual mac and cheese. So I'm gonna use salt, of course, pepper, of course. I'm gonna also put some onion powder in there. Let's see what else I've got in my little spice cabinet. Some garlic powder, of course. Some paprika again. I'm also gonna do in some sage, ground sage. And I'm gonna grab my parsley now, but I'm not gonna use that until the end, kind of before I bake it, as like a garnish. And then let me see, I don't really think that there's much else to really put in there. I think that's pretty much it. Another thing you will also need is milk. I don't drink cow's milk. I think it's kind of gross, but I do use it whenever I'm like baking or cooking. So for the sake of this video, you do need milk, because I did forget to mention that in the ingredients. I'm also just gonna check on these Brussels sprouts. I will pull them out to kind of give you guys a better look. They're getting toasty. They got some warm color, which I like them a little bit crispy personally. So I'm just gonna let them do their thing. I'm just gonna move them around a little. Hear that sizzle? That's what it's all about. I feel like Rachel Ray or like Martha Stewart right now, which actually, fun fact, Martha Stewart and I share a birthday. So I always just feel like some little part of her is like in my genes somehow. And I don't know, I just feel like she's just like just with me at all times. I don't know how to explain it. I sound crazy, but that's just how I feel. Been a minute. I let this kind of do its thing, and you can already smell, like, it kind of has like that mac and cheese sort of smell before you even add any cheese. Now I am going to add in my seasonings. I always eyeball my seasonings too because, I don't know, I just do. I eyeball a lot of things when I'm cooking, which I talked about in my last video, how cooking is very like by the seat of my pants, whereas like baking, I'm a little more sticking to the directions and the process because I don't want to mess it up. Now it's the fun part, I get to add all my different cheeses. I am gonna save a little bit of everything just to layer it in later, whenever I go to bake it, but I'm not gonna leave a bunch, just like a little, because I still want my cheddar to be like my main cheese, the baked cheese, if you will. And then of course, the it girl of the recipe, Miss Sharp Cheddar. I'm literally just gonna dump like half the bag because she's the main girl. Then I'm just gonna stir that around. And then I'm gonna add my milk. Just gonna keep stirring. And get it to start melting. And then I'm just gonna keep adding some more milk whenever I feel like it's needed, because you don't want your cheese to like stick to the bottom of the pot. And you also don't want it to be like super thick, because that will also get you that like nasty, mushy consistency that you don't really want. You want it to be like a sauce. While that's kind of melting into that sauce, I'm gonna grab my Dutch oven because really once you get your cheese sauce done and you mix in your pasta, we kind of go on to the baking. Here's this gorgeous Dutch oven. I don't know where I got it actually. It's from the brand Blue Harbor. I don't know where it's from though. We've just always had it at my house. And while that is still doing its thing, I'm gonna add the rest of the butter and I'm just gonna melt it. And I have my melted butter here. So I'm just going to take my panko, my breadcrumbs, and I'm just gonna dump some in there. This is what we're gonna do to get that like baked, crispy layer. So I'm adding some parsley in here, just for a little garnish. And then I'm also gonna add some paprika. And then some pepper and some garlic. So my cheese sauce is pretty much done. So now I'm just gonna add in my pasta, as one does. And then this is the part where I kind of just abandon my whisk because, like I said before, I don't really want to I just want to incorporate the pasta and the cheese. Like I want to combine them. I don't really want to like mash them together because that's just like not what we're going for. And then I am gonna add a little more cheddar just to add it in there, and if it doesn't all melt, it's honestly fine because we're about to bake it, so then it will melt. I did add a little more milk. I don't know why, but I just felt like it was right, so that's what I did. You want to start until it sounds like that one vine. You know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, look up like, I don't know, mac and cheese vine or something, you'll probably find it. Here's like the in the pot sort of thing. I'm trying not to burn myself because it's a little hot. But now we're just gonna put it in our Dutch oven. And how I do it is I just scoop some in there. It's like really cheesy, as you can tell, because it's just like, this is. And I just do like a base layer. And then I take some of our panko mixture and just sprinkle that all over. And then I add a little bit more cheddar. Here's what it looks like with one layer. It's really self-explanatory. You just put some in there, put some panko mixture with your seasoning and your butter, melt it in there, and then just a layer of sharp cheddar, and then you just do that same thing again. Then I'm just gonna try some now because I'm the chef and I'm allowed to. So I'm just gonna try some of this right now. Good as always. And here she is, pre-oven. She already looks so good. Like literally amazing. And then I am just gonna sprinkle actually a little bit of parsley over top just for like presentation value because I'm extra. And I'm not even gonna cover it because actually I don't even think this lid would really do anything. Like that's what it looks like with the lid. It's literally like sitting on top of it because it's so full. But I'm just gonna put it in the oven and kind of let it do its thing. I'm just gonna keep the oven at 435 so that it'll probably be done in like 10 minutes. Take my Brussels sprouts out. They look, to some people these would be burnt and they do look really black in here because the lighting's bad. But they're like more golden brown and that's what I was going for. Did they cook maybe like 5 more minutes than I would have loved? Yeah, but like they're fine because I like my vegetables like a little bit crispy. So while my mac and cheese finishes baking, I'm going to make some cucumber mint water. It's so good. Like whenever I make this, it's so good because it's just like elevated water, but it's so healthy and it tastes like I don't know, like water if it was on steroids, you know what I mean? Like it's just so fresh. It's just so good. Like it makes you feel so like healthy and clean. I just have this little bottle that I use. I think we got this at like Aldi's or something because there's this like drink that we drink in the summer. It's this like lemonade, like sparkling lemonade stuff. It's really good, but we save these because they come in these nice, like cute glass bottles. So I have like 4 or 5 of them. And I use them for like parties, for like putting in like mixed drinks, like if I make like a punch or something, or if like I just want to like kind of elevate like a little mocktail bar or something that I do, I'll just put like my cranberry juice or like orange juice or something like that in here, just because I'm a whore for presentation. I'm just using 2 baby cucumbers and just some mint, both of which you can just get at like the store. It's really not difficult to find. But all I do is just cut them to kind of fit in the bottle. So I just slice it down the middle. And then I just slice it into little pieces like vertically, because I just want it small enough to be able to slide in there. That's all I'm doing, because it's just like infused water, so it's just putting it in there. And then now I'm just gonna add my mint. And some of the stems are really long, because I have to take off some of the leaves just because they're not the freshest, because it's not really like that time for mint, but I just rip off the long stems. And that's pretty much it. I just fill it with water then, and you're pretty much done. So there it is. She's so cute. I love the way it looks too. It just looks like a little underwater like terrarium or something. It's really cute, but I normally drink mine with lemon. Then I also, by the way, I let this just sit in the fridge overnight normally. So like about like 4 or 5 hours though, you'll get like a taste, but I always let mine overnight. And then in the morning you have some nice refreshing cucumber mint infused water, and you can just keep refilling it. Like I just keep refilling it basically, like every time I pour some, I just refill it with water, and then I put it back in the fridge, and it's good. And the longer you have it go, the faster it will start to infuse. I don't really like let it go more than like 4 days, just because that's when it starts to taste like a little gross. But yeah, and then I normally drink mine with a lemon, and I don't know, it's just like an elevated thing of water. So now I'm gonna check on my mac and cheese. Oh, she's so perfect. She's literally done. She looks perfect. Look how cute she is, like that color on top. The completed mac and cheese. Look at that. She's perfect. Let me do the knife test to see how like crispy, crunchy it is. Do you hear that? Oh my god. Okay, wait. I gotta bring you closer. Do you hear that? It's actually kind of sticking because my knife's probably a little wet from me washing it off, but like, are you kidding? I'm gonna give my Brussels sprouts a taste test first. Okay, let's try one. Just what I was expecting. I'm gonna try another one. And by trying, I mean I'm just gonna eat it because I know they're good. They're really good. Like really good. You get like a little note of garlic, but then you also get like the balsamic taste without it being like bitter. And then you get like a little kick of sweetness because the sweetness complements the acidity and the like bitterness of the balsamic, and it just blends together in one beautiful taste. And then you also have like a little like kick of like freshness because it's a vegetable. And it's so good. And I'm gonna plate some up and enjoy. I am gonna show you a taste test of the mac and cheese, but once I plate everything up. That is so good. Oh, that's perfect, I fear. I fear that that is perfect. And that's the plate. I'm gonna get it in better lighting. This is the plate. She looks so good. And normally I drench this in hot sauce because I love eating Brussels sprouts with hot sauce, and I also love eating mac and cheese with hot sauce. So I just douse it in hot sauce. But let me try this glorious mac and cheese. Okay. I'm so excited for this because it looks so good. And the texture, like, it holds up. You know what I mean? Okay, let's try this. That is some good ass mac and cheese. You can't even like taste spice from the paprika, which I'm actually surprised. I thought it would be like spicy almost, but it's not. You just get the flavor, but there's not enough, but it's also like savory. It's just comfort food, like it's so good. Guys, that is heaven on a plate. That is so good. And I just like, oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna devour this. Like actually devour this and probably get seconds. And yeah, this was like the best mac and cheese I've ever made, coincidentally. I'm not kidding, like this might be the best one I've ever made. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy cooking videos, let me know. Let me know if there's any recipes you want me to try, as always. And I don't think I'm just gonna stick to cooking videos, but I do really love making cooking videos, but I don't want my channel to just be cooking videos. I still want to do like some fashion stuff. So let me know if you have any video ideas for that. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I hope you have a good week. Bye.